Peace, love, light of healing, peace, love, light of healing, peace to the guys, peace to the earth. Y'all climb on in. Blessings. Shalom, 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 lakai, mishpati. Climb on in, family. I'm feeling better. I'm able to open my mouth a little wider now. You know, I can move my jaw around. Still hurt a little bit. My stitches came apart today, but like I'm getting better, y'all. I'm healing up quickly. Yeah, I know a lot of y'all been asking questions, so I jumped on here to talk to y'all, give y'all some updates, and, you know, we're going to talk. I'm going to speak slow, so if you still can't hear me, let me know, and I'll try to speak slower so you can understand me. I know my mouth right now. You look healthy, bro. Yeah, I am healthy. I'm getting healthy. I'm getting better and better and better and better. I finally got my weight back, too, on 152. I've been eating good. Good to see y'all as well. Nah, only thing that really stopped me is my L's and my S's. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's what really stopping me right now, but I'm working through it. I got until the 7th of June to get it right because I got a lecture in Detroit. Y'all make sure y'all get on there and buy them tickets. I'll see y'all in Detroit at Wayne State University. So, yeah, what we talking about today is elimination and nutrition. You know, a lot of people asking how to detox, what's the fastest way to detox, and it's all about nutrition and elimination. And I'm going to show y'all how to do it step by step, so get y'all pens, get y'all pads. Again, if you start hearing me slurring while I'm teaching, let me know. I'll slow down and I'll repeat myself. It's only going to get better and better as I continue to speak and the inflammation continue to leave, so... Do you believe in numerology? Yes, I do. At least you're not spitting when you talking. Whatever. I sure was. But my S's is still killing me, y'all. When you come into Detroit, I'll be there June the 7th. Go to yakievents.com, book a ticket. If you don't trust the site, all you got to do is go to yakieawaken.com and click on the event tab, and then you can link it there. Okay? All right, so if y'all got y'all pens, y'all got y'all pads, y'all ready to get it started, type in some 7s and some 9s, we'll start. 3-bitter detox is amazing. Yes, the 3-bitters is healing the world. We sell about 100,000 3-bitters every couple of months, and I'm not exaggerating. We done seen people get rid of a lot of stuff just with the 3-bitters by itself. But see, that's a part of that elimination part that I was talking about. All right, let's do it. So when you're looking at the body, and I'm going to write this stuff down with y'all, so get y'all a pen and a pad. We're going to write it together. So the first thing, I want to start from the outside, then we're going to go internally, or eternally, should I say. So get you a pen, get you a pad. The first thing we're going to write is skin. Write down skin. Now, the reason why we're going to write down skin is because your skin is the biggest organ on your body. But not only is the skin the biggest organ on your body, the skin actually functions as your third kidney because it has a major detoxification capabilities. That's why you sweat through your skin. You perspire through your skin. So skin. All right. After skin, we're going to go through each of these. We're going to write down kidneys. And then we're going to break it all down. Kidneys is control of biological metabolic waste and metabolites. That's how you get rid of it. And you secrete it through your urine. So you got your skin, which is an eliminative organ, one of the biggest organs on your body. Then you have your kidneys, which gets rid of metabolic waste and metabolites and through urine secretion by way of urea. Then the second one, you have your liver. The third one, you got your liver, right? Liver down. Liver have all types of what you will call detoxification pathways. You have the glutathione S transferase pathway. You have the NRF2 pathway. Write that down. The NRF2 pathway. And then you have the 3-phase detoxification pathways. You have the glutathione S transferase pathway. You have the NRF2 pathway. And then you have the 3-phase detoxification pathways, which is what your liver do by way of bilirubin, biliverdin, and bile. All right, so liver. Fourth one is your lungs. We're going to write down lungs. Your lungs. That gets rid of what? Carbon dioxide. All right. And last but not least, colon. Write down colon. Colon gets rid of what you will call macro waste. So we got skin, kidneys, liver, lungs, colon, and then what wraps all of these together is the lymphatic system. So write down lymphatic system. And we're going to break it down. I'm going to show you how to move all of these. My pen going out. Shim, you got a pen?
I got one.
There you go. Lymphatic system. All right. So let's start with the skin. Y'all write these down. Skin. Put them in the comments. Kidney, liver, lungs, colon, lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is its own beast. Because with the lymphatic system, you have the spleen, which help you cleanse and purify everything that's in your blood into the lymphatic system. You have the lymph nodes, the cervical area, the axillary area, the sphenoid area, the lingual area. You got so many, the Peyer's patches, the ileum sac. So when we get to the lymphatic part, is even way more. But right now we're going to talk about the skin. Anybody trying to detox, focus on your skin, because most people that's sick or that got illnesses or that's going through some type of illness, their kidneys and their adrenals are compromised anyway. So you have to help your kidneys and your adrenals by cleansing through your skin. The best thing to do is make sure you're not blocking your pores. So don't be putting on anything that's thick like shea butter. That'll block your pores. Vaseline will block your pores. You need to use things like aloe vera, coconut oil if you're not dealing with herpes, of course. But the best thing I used to use grapeseed oil, but then I start realizing all of the hydrogenated, just basically how they really hydrogenate these things and put them in these transfusions and heat them up. So I don't even do those no more. So the best thing will be coconut oil and olive oil and aloe vera to put on your skin, because it still allow your pores to breathe. And that way, if you're doing a sauna, or if you're going for a walk, or if you're sitting in the sun, you are still able to perspire and sweat and basically get all of those metabolites and metabolic waste through the skin. Skin is an amazing detoxification mechanism. Not only do it absorb things straight into the bloodstream, it actually excrete things outside of the blood as well in the tissues. So that's the first thing I'll pay attention to, because anybody that's sick or anybody that's suffering from a detoxification symptom that we call an illness or a disease, they having kidney malfunction anyway, because the kidneys is your first line of defense when it comes to getting rid of metabolic waste. You eat foods, you break these foods down. When you break these foods down, it goes down the esophagus, it hits the stomach, hydrochloric acid inside the stomach, break the food down even more. It passes through something called the pyloric sphincter. Once it get through the pyloric sphincter, it go into this 9-inch tract called the duodenum. Inside the duodenum, you have a bunch of microbes, and these microbes can get up to the billions just in this one little area. And who's hanging around there? Helicobacter pylori. That's why a lot of people are getting H. pylori, because they're eating wrong. So you have these little fingers, these little fungi fingers called the microvilli. Deep within inside of there, you have all these bacteria that swim up and they grab onto the food, and then they pass the food through something called capillary beds. These capillary beds go through two major systems. They go through lymph capillaries and blood. All right. Once it gets inside the blood transfers throughout the body through 150 trillion cells. Your cells then grab a hold of the food through different types of pumps and enzymic reactions, cation reactions and ionic reactions. Then it go through the cell. When it get in the cells metabolize it for ATP and energy. After that, the cell poop. When the cell poop on itself, you have something called the lymphatic system or interstitial fluid that rolls around all of these different cells and pick up all the metabolic waste. Once it picks up the metabolic waste, it travels to something called lymph nodes. These lymph nodes have a bunch of macrophages in there and a bunch of different bacteria that helps the food break down even more and extract more. Once these foods then break down, they go through the rest of the lymph nodes, then they end up in the kidneys, powered by the adrenal glands. If the adrenal glands are powered up properly and it's emitting the millihertz that it needs to basically electrify the body, then the filtration pump kicks on, which is the kidneys. kidneys, and then you literally pee it out through urea and all different types of metabolic material. So your circulatory system or your lymphatic system is working properly. But if not, then these things are backing up and sitting on top of the cells. So the best thing you can do is open up the pores to your skin to become elimination pathway. And that's why we always tell people to get in heat or to get in the sauna, infrared sauna or steam sauna, to help open up their pores and more. And when I mean get in there, I mean it have to be at least 160 or higher. 160 or higher though. Like anything lower than 160, you doing yourself a disservice. Not only that, you need to be in there for at least 21 minutes because you have to allow something called heat shock proteins to kick on. And what these heat shock proteins do when they activate, they create what you will call an immunological response. This is when your lymphatic system start responding. You have natural killer cells, you have macrophages, you have neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils, lymphocytes, and you have phagocytes that'll be alert and they'll start leaving the tissues, going throughout the bloodstream and looking for danger. And when they look for danger, then they phagocytose these different cells and particles that's not supposed to be in the body. They engulf them, then they break them down more, and then your body go through something called a state of autophagy. And I tell y'all all the time, autophagy, auto just means self, phagy just means eats. It's basically when the cells start degrading themselves down, and the parts that they can reuse goes back into circulation, but the parts that they can't use that'll harm them, like metabolites, they will put them on a streamline to the kidneys, or it'll take it to the skin, or it'll take it to the liver. And what happened is you will produce bile and bilirubin and biliverdin, and bile will further break these things down and secrete them out of the body. All right. This is how amazing the skin is. Not only the skin is amazing, but the skin is made from the same neurological material and tissue as your brain. That's why when you look at the endoderm, the ectoderm, the mesoderm, when you start getting to embryology, when a fetus is first being created during its stages, when you see the skin come, the brain is there too. The skin, the eyes, the brain, and the nervous system is all made from the same tissues, y'all. All of it. So, and that's the reason why your skin reads the environment, takes signals, feed it back to proteins, and it tells you how to interact with your external environment. All by the signal is reading from your skin and from your hair. Even your hair is an extension of your nervous system, but the nervous system is an extension of the skin, and all these things is an extension of the brain. When you really start studying embryology, it's mind-blowing. So a person who take care of their skin essentially is taking care of their whole health, their whole entire life. Because your skin is not only the absorption factor of everything that you bring in from the external world. It's not only your first line of defense, but it's also a eliminative organ. It helps you perspire and get rid of things. And that's why when you sweat and you taste these things, these are salts. These salts are coming from the salt, sulfur, water, and potassium ratio of your cell. So when you sweat, you're potentially filtering the cells. That's why you tasting the salt. The salt is built up in the cells. You see what I'm saying? So when you really start thinking about this from this way, your body is a biological machine. So the best way to cleanse the skin is saunas. Sauna. Another one is hot and cold showers. Get in the shower for about 3 minutes, as hot as you can stand it. Then the last 2 minutes before you get out, turn it super cold. Another one is lymphatic brushing your skin, opening up those pores. They say brush towards the heart. I say brush towards the kidneys. That's another way to open it up. Another one is sun bathing. Let that sun bake their skin, especially people that have more melanin content than others. Everybody have melanin. Not only do so-called black people have melanin, everybody have melanin. Ill melanin, pheomelanin, neuromelanin. There's many different melanins. But people with higher melanin content, like indigenous people of this earth, which would be you and I, you need to be in the sunlight at least an hour or hour and a half a day. Because you have to penetrate the sun and that infrared light, in that UV light, it have to penetrate the actual epidermis of the skin to reach down into the blood to actually start its mechanism. And then that's what actually turns on these pathways for you can produce serotonin and melatonin by way of the pineal gland, or what you'll call the circadian rhythm phase. All right. So that's the skin. Let's cross out skin. So the best way to detoxify the skin is not putting any chemicals on it. All right. The second thing is to get in some type of hot temperature. And the best thing will be the sauna. You need to do the sauna at least every other day for 30 minutes a day. And you need to be 160 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. That's the only way you're going to kick on heat shock proteins, which is going to kick on an immunological response, which is going to cause a crazy major detox. All right. So let's cross out skin. Now we're going to move on to kidneys. Kidneys. Kidneys is amazing. Notice when the kidneys go down, you go down. In ancient teachings and in the scrolls, it tell us that the kidneys are the seats of our ancestors. And the reason why is because all of the body blood goes through the kidneys more than any other organ other than the heart every single day. Your kidneys right now could be holding probably 1.5 pints of blood as we speak. That's how much blood it holds. We know that the life is in the flesh. The life in the flesh is in the blood. So we know what gives life to creation is flowing through the bloodstream. And what's in the bloodstream is what? Oxygen. It's the promise, the spirit. It's the Ruach HaKodesh. In the Hebrew Torah, we call it the Neshama, which feeds the nefesh, the soul. Right? So this shows you that in order to truly cleanse, you need to make sure that your kidneys are open. Now, the kidneys deal with your alkalinity, your potential hydrogen. The kidneys actually deals with whether acids is going to go through the urethra all the way out into the toilet, or these acids are going to get back up into the blood. The nephrons of the kidneys. When you look at the kidneys, see if I can find one real quick. That's a liver. Y'all see a kidney over here? I need a big kidney. Here go one. So this is a big old kidney. You see these filtration pathways of the kidney? This is the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands is a pyramid-like structure. It's the size of a walnut, and it sits on top of the kidneys. These are the actual nephrons of the kidneys. These are the pyramids of the kidneys. These nephrons, in each kidney, you have 1 million nephrons. Right? When these nephrons get too many acids in them or too many calcifications in them, because your thyroid, the parathyroid, is basically producing or releasing too much calcium from the bone, because calcium acts as a neutralizer to acids. Calcium loves to buffer out acids. So when you super acidic because you eating acidic forming foods, or you just have acidic thoughts because you can't become acidic from that, or you just doing things you're not supposed to be doing, you're going against nature, you wearing different fabrics that don't agree with your molecular structure, you wearing different fabrics that don't vibrate with your same frequency, then you become acidic. You start holding on to too many protons, you start letting go of too many electrons. And this electrical electrons, or these anion channels, is what makes you alkaline, right? What happens is you get a blowback on these nephrons, or these pyramid-like structures in the kidneys. When the kidneys get inflamed, they cannot filtrate. So what they do is they back up, and they back up intravenously. So all of these things back up back into the body. The first thing you're going to feel is lower back pains. Some family, I'm sorry to tell y'all, most of y'all to come to the clinic and y'all be like, I'm having lower back pains. What are good fabrics? Real quick. The best fabrics, which is at 5,000 millihertz, is linen. This shirt is 100% linen. The next fabric that's at 5,000 millihertz is linen, and what's the other one? 100% cotton? No, not wool. Thank you, God. Wool, 5,000 millihertz. Then cotton. Cotton is only 100 millihertz. And then when you get into nylon and you get into your synthetic things like give me some polyester, these are 0. Now, when you look at the human body, when it operates in a good millivolt, it is between 65 and 75 millivolts or millihertz. That's where it operates good at. They call it a balance of homeostasis. But in order to turn over new cells and go through autophagy and actually good energy and rebirth new cells, you need at least 90 millivolts or 85 millihertz. So it shows you that, like, you have a biofield, and you have a real biofield around your body. Dr. Bruce Lipton improved this. Dr. Greg Braden improved this. There's many doctors that improved this scientifically and backed it up. And then we're not going to even talk about quantum computers that improved this. You actually have an energetic biofield. We got cameras. I got a camera at my house right now that you can take a picture and it will show you your biofield or show you your aura. Kelly cameras. She created these cameras and she took pictures of apples. She took pictures of broccoli, and she took pictures of living food, and it showed an electrical magnetic field permeating from the fruits and from the vegetables. Then she did the same thing to meat, raw. It showed the electrical magnetic field permeating because it still had blood in it. But then she took a picture of meat that's been cooked, and of dead foods, and of GMO, basically foods that's been created in a laboratory and didn't have no type of energetic field permeating from the subject. So it just show you that you are a biological living entity and you emit light because you eat light all day. from the sun. You eat light. So since you eat light and you absorb light, you emit light through these different types of proteins that hold on to light called chromophores. And these chromophores are regulated by serotonin and melatonin by way of the pineal and pituitary gland, the master glands of the body. So when the scripture says that the light of the body is the eye, it really meant that in the book of Matthew. Like, I'm telling you, you literally emit light out. We are light beings. We are children of the sun. Whether you want to say S-O-N or S-U-N, however you want to spin it, we still children of the sun. So the kidney filtration. The best way to get the kidneys to filtrate, because the kidney is what deals with all the metabolites and metabolic waste of the body that the cell produce, is dry fasting. Nothing gets the kidneys to filtrate better than a dry fast. At least 16 hours. Anything under 16 hours, you're doing yourself a disservice. But the beautiful thing about this, if you following Dr. Yaki's schedule the correct way, you're going to be asleep at least 8 of those hours anyway. So just add another 8 hours of awakening hours to your 8 hours that you've been asleep. Guess what? That's 16 hours. And then you're going to urinate in a glass jar. You're going to sit that glass jar out and you're going to wait on the settlement. You're going to wait on that white settlement to actually sink to the bottom of that jar. And that's in metabolic waste. That's nitrogen compounds. That's calcium. That's solidification and then broken up. Now you opening up the pathways. Now you getting the nephrons to actually filtrate. Now the adrenals are back online and boom. Now the lymphatic system is able to put all that trash somewhere and you able to get rid of that trash. You see what I'm saying? So at least 16 hours of dry fasting. All right. That's the kidneys. And this is by way of urination. So drink H3O or H2O. I don't even care at this point. Long as you hydrating your body and you moving your body and you are urinating and you massaging your kidneys. Actually massage your kidneys. Do it while you urinating. Females, when you sitting on that toilet, rub them in clockwise position. Fellas, when you standing up and you urinating, if your aim game is correct, make sure that you massaging your lower back and let your kidneys know you love them. Talk to your organs. I talk to y'all about this all the time. Talk to your organs. All right. Now let's scratch off kidneys. Thirdly, we got the liver. Liver. I'm telling y'all, the best way to detox the liver, y'all, I'm going to give y'all an emergency evacuation way, and then I'm going to give y'all a regular way. Olive oil all day. No, and we can just do this in a shot. You're going to get a shot glass, a double shot. A double shot is 2.5 ounces, right? 2 ounces or 2.5? 2. So, okay, Nabi said a double shot is 2 ounces. So we, notice I said Nabi. I'm going to say 2.5 though, because you need enough room. You're going to do an ounce of virgin organic olive oil, an ounce of that. The whole ounce of virgin organic olive oil. Make sure it's the real kind. And then you're going to squeeze a half a lemon and a half a grapefruit and do a pinch of salt. And you're going to add those together. You're going to take a shot of that every day for 5 days. Every day for 5 days. They laughing at you now, B. You're going to do that every day for 5 days. Right? Now, what you're going to do is previous 5 days before you start doing that, make sure that you're doing nothing but apple juice and apples, because the malic acid from the apple juice and apples, it softens up gallstones. Not only do it soften up gallstones, it dilates the hepatic ducts. It dilates the hepatic ducts of the actual liver, and it calms down any inflammation that the liver is going through. All right. So you're going to do 5 days of Granny Smith green apples. Make sure you eat it with the skin, and you're going to be juicing and drinking these apples too for 5 days. Nothing but apples. Then on that 5th day, going into the 6th day, that's when you're going to do an ounce of pure organic cold pressed virgin olive oil. And then you're going to do another ounce. Another ounce is going to be a half squash lemon, right? Half squash grapefruit, and then a pinch of sea salt. You're going to do that for 5 days straight while you continue on the juices and the apples. Your liver is going to release so many gallstones. You're going to release so much metabolic waste. Your bilirubin might go up, because when you release that bile, that golden lantern, that liquid gold is going to be released from the liver. So you might get jaundice. You might see jaundice come into your eyes. Don't worry about all that. It just means you healing. They teaching you that it means your liver is failing. No, it don't. It means you actually healing. You see what I'm saying? And then if you want to do an emergency one, which I love, because I love strong detoxifications, yo, I'm telling you, coffee enemas. I don't know nothing on planet Earth that is stronger than coffee enemas. Get you a coffee enema. Make sure that is organic and is roasted coffee made for enema style. And you do enemas. Do them every day if you have to, especially if you're going to be talking about the next thing I talk about after I talk about the other elimination pathways, which is nutrition. When you start pouring in nutrition and bringing in real nutrition, organic nutrition into the body, and you're saturating your cells with it, what it's going to do is it's going to start pushing out all of the toxins. If these toxins hit the blood too fast, you're going to have a hell of a healing crisis. You're going to feel like you dying. You're going to feel like you dying. But you're not going to be dying. So the best way to relieve the blood from all those toxins for it won't change your pH is to do coffee enemas. Coffee enemas will, or if you got a nearby place that do colonics, holistic colonics, that ain't trying to rip up and tear up your rectum and your anus and ain't going to have you on there with city water going all into your, your secret parts, then do a colonic. Because what this do is this forces the liver to release bile. And I don't know if y'all know about bile or not, but bile is a lipid substance that's produced by the actual liver, made by cholesterol, that helps you not only break down fat, but it helps you regulate. There's so many anti-mutagenic properties to bile, anti-inflammatory properties to bile, cancer prevention and anti-cancer properties to bile. I mean, when you look at bile and what it's created for, it is literally created to be the golden liquid hue of the body. It regenerates the body. That's why if your body works good and something is wrong with your liver, your bilirubin shoots up and you start getting jaundice because the blood starts putting bile everywhere. Or should I say the lymphatics start putting bile everywhere. The doctors in the allopathic community would say that your liver is failing, your ALT and your ASTs, which is your liver enzymes, are high. You're going through liver failure. But if you really look at it for what it is and you let the process play out without letting them hack on you and give you medicine that's going to really potentially harm the liver in the first place, you will see that your body start healing. My bilirubin for the last 4 months have been 4 points higher than what it should be. Mine's just regulated last week. Just regulated itself last week. Because I've been going through a major detoxification and I've been doing coffee enemas. We've been doing colonics. We've been doing all types of detox. Am I lying, IB? We've been getting it in because we've been doing hyperbaric oxygen chamber. I do PEMF mats every night. You see, I'm doing the beamer. I'm circulating my blood. I'm on all the herbs. I'm on all types of stuff. All natural healing modalities, because I know that I just had major surgery. I had major inflammation, y'all. My mouth just stopped hurting, y'all. Just stopped hurting. And I still can't even talk correctly, but I'm on here trying to teach y'all. You see what I'm saying? So you got to do what you got to do, and you got to do what you know best. One thing I wasn't doing was taking no pain medicine, because I already knew something's already going on with my liver. I already had heavy metal toxicity hitting my liver. My liver enzymes are already jacked up. Why would I take some pain medicine when y'all already gave me anesthetic, to put me to sleep, to give me the surgery, which I didn't want to do that anyway. So it's certain things that I just can't allow my body to go through. You see what I'm saying? I'm not an extremist, but if I can just bear with the pain for a little while, and I know that I can live longer other than taking all of these different, suppressors, and it's going to harm my liver and I can potentially lose my liver and not get it back, then I'd rather stick with the mouth pain. And that's just what it is. And on the way, I knew they put me to sleep to do the surgery. So I got to get that out of my liver. You know what I'm saying? Quickly. So look, why not colonic? Why not coffee enema? Why not dandelion root tea every single day? Why not do all of these different herbs that I know that's going to cleanse my liver? Yellow dock root, burdock root, dandelion leaf, dandelion root, milk thistle powder. I'm on all of these because I know my liver needs help, because my liver is one of my major detoxification organs in my body. And if my liver go down, then that means my skin is going to go down with it. So now I'm losing two. And then if you notice, whenever you have liver issues and get skin issues, the kidneys go last. Your buns, blood, urine, nitrogen number go all out of whack. You see that? Then your pH go out of whack. Your nephrons, you start getting nephritis. Because all of these things are intricately connected. So you got to do what you got to do. And that's why these elimination pathways matter. So you cleanse the skin, get the adrenals online, start cleansing the kidneys. Make sure you cleansing the liver. The best way to cleanse the liver in a quick way is coffee enemas and colonics. All right. The other way is to do what I told you with the olive oil. Next is always dandelion root and milk thistle capsules. Make sure that it's 1,000 milligrams or higher, or you wasting your time. And make sure that it's organically extracted. Make sure it's made and prepped the right way before you start putting them in your body. Okay. Now we're talking about the fourth one, the lungs. How do you clear the lungs? The best way to clear the lungs is bringing as much oxygen into them as possible. Hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy, or doing deep mindful breathing. Deep mindful breathing is the best way. Deep mindful breathing. All right. Now, as far as teas, mullein leaf and coat's foot leaf is very, very good. And lungwort is very, very good for the lungs. Drink about 16 ounces a day. Make sure that you're being mindful when you breathe. Make sure that you're doing deep diaphragmatic breathing. You see that? And make sure you're focusing on your breaths. And make sure that you keep your heart rate in at least 72 to 85 beats per minute a day. I wouldn't go no higher than that. That shows you that you're in a very restful state. You're in a state of peace, and you're bringing in as much oxygen as possible. Remember, we're only allowed to breathe 21% oxygen right now. And the pressure from this enclosed earth, yes, I'm saying enclosed, the pressure from this enclosed earth, because we know that the creator put a dome over this deal, whether y'all want to admit it or not. We're enclosed. We're damn near in a freaking fish tank. The pressure have started to release itself. We used to be under heavy pressure, and we was receiving up to 65 to 80% oxygen. Back in those days, we was up to 16 feet, some of it 32 feet. I know y'all seeing sleeping mountains looking like giants and stuff that I'm not going to even go get into right now. But that's because the oxygen was very, very bioavailable back then, which we don't have none right now. We only breathing in 21%. And that's if you in a good place to have a lot of trees that don't have that much environmental pollutants. In St. Louis, I think we breathe in 18%, which is considering very high when you look at Detroit and you start looking at Chicago and just different parts of the world that's very, very busy, and all of their trees are being knocked down. The pollutants and the oxygen rates going down. Look, it's some places in the U.S. right now, 12% oxygen, 12%. And you wonder why you crazy. You have insomnia. You can't sleep. You can't poop. Your bowels can't regulate themselves. You can't even get an erection. Your penis can't get hard. Vaginal dryness. You are suffocating. You're creating a bunch of lactic acid. Your cells are going back to its ancient ways. We're have to ferment to even get ADP. ADP is ATP discharge. It ain't even getting this real currency. It's getting changed. It's not even getting them dollar bills. So you getting secondhand currency, and you wonder why you're mutating everywhere. You can't think, you sluggish, your memory, your forgetfulness, you got brain fog, your energy, your adrenals are fatigued because you're not converting and turning oxygen over into ATP by water molecules. So oxygen is very, very vital. I heard KRS say that oxygen is consciousness. You know what I'm saying? He said you breathing in consciousness. And it's a book called The Breath of the Yogi. I'm going to show y'all the book the next time I go live. It talks about that. It says to live and to think is to breathe. So if you're not breathing correctly, you're not living correctly, and it's impossible to think correctly or even think and operate and be in your higher self. Because the very consciousness around you, that life that's in the flesh, that's in the blood, is oxygen molecules. That's the spirit. And that's why when you stop breathing, you die. And your spirit separates from your soul and your body. That's what happens. Yes, body is basar, flesh. Spirit is ruach. Breath is neshama. Correct. All right, so we talked about lungs. Next is the colon. Now, the colon gets rid of what you will call, everything else I've been talking about so far is micro waste. Now we got to talk about macro waste. Because when you eat, and you eat all these foods, and your body break these foods down, so when you eating, and you eating all these foods, and your body is breaking these foods down, when you chew this food and it go down the esophagus, remember it hits the stomach, It goes through the body of the stomach, the fungus of the stomach. This is the cardiac sphincter. This is the duodenum, right? Once it goes inside the duodenum, you get these pancreatic secretions. These pancreatic secretions, you have sodium bicarbonate, or what you'll call baking soda, that gets secreted because remember, all the food just left the stomach sac. So it's hot as hell. So this food got to be calmed down before the particles go inside the bloodstream. So soon as it gets into this 9-inch tract called the duodenum, the pancreas starts producing all of its pancreatic enzyme. The major one is baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. That mixes with the food and it calms it down. Now, once it calms down, these little villi or these grooves inside the duodenum, they actually get picked up by the microbes. And these microbes, like Candida albicans, you got bifidobacterium bacteria, you got lactobacillus bacteria. Once it take it through, now the blood got a hold of all of the micronutrition. But the macronutrition, or all the fiber that the blood cannot intake through the capillaries, it goes through the intestines. So it goes through the jejunum. Then it goes through the ileum. Once it gets through the ileum, it passes this door and it comes through what you would call the cecum. And the cecum is right here. Now, the beautiful thing about this is once it goes through the cecum, you have this called the pancreas. I mean, the pancreas right here, the appendix. What the appendix does, and this is how you know the creator is amazing. The appendix create a bunch of bacteria that's made right here on site. Right here on site, your body is producing living organisms out of nowhere. Just like the blood produces blood. I mean, just like the bone marrow produces blood out of nowhere. You are a self-regenerating entity. So all of these bacteria is being made in the appendix. That's why a person that's not using the bacteria properly, they get what? Appendicitis. And you got to get it taken out because if it busts, you go septic because all the bacteria is in there. The bacteria is then released and it starts helping you break down these foods more. Then chyme is released and it starts wrapping. Now it goes up the ascending colon. When it gets to the ascending colon, it goes through the transverse colon. The transverse colon is where recycling or reabsorption happens. A bunch of things are reabsorbed back into the system. Water, nutrients, acceptable metabolites, and big old things that you need to kick out. Then it goes down the descending colon to the sigmoid colon, to the rectum, and then you poop out all of that macro waste. And usually it's stuff that the body couldn't break down. Mostly it's fibrous tissues that come from fruits, vegetables, or proteins that your stomach acid could not break down from the meats. Y'all see how that work? So the best way to sweep the colon, to me, is it's a colon massage is very good. A colonic will work real good. Again, coffee enemas not only is good for cleansing the liver, but it's good for sweeping the colon. But then you got Castor sagrada. Castor sagrada is a very, very good herb that will cleanse and sweep the colon. I use that in my GI room. I mean, it's very good. And not only that, but Castor, it don't only purges the colon, it strengthens the cells around the colon and it tones them too. And that's what in herbalism, that's what you call a tonic. It's a very, very good tonic. You see that? And you can do that as a tea, or you can do it as herb. Another one is slippery elm bark. Slippery elm bark cleanses the colon very, very good as well. Very good. All right. And then colon massages, where you literally massage. You go through, just like what I just said, and you start massaging the colon. You always start from the ascending colon, and you rub. You dig and you rub. And you always go clockwise. I do this to my babies. And you dig and you rub. Don't I do it to them, Nabi? Especially if they got pooping problems. And you dig and you rub. They start farting, fluctuating, passing gas. Then next thing you know, you run into the bathroom. Hydration. Hydration breaks up calcification and stagnation. Hydrate the body. That'll help you move a lot of that poop out of there as well. And another thing is, make sure that you're not eating too much. You should only be eating, especially if you're healing, you should be eating through a window. And I call it the 18-6 rule, where you only eating 6 hours a day anyway. And through that 6 hours, you're eating one big meal. One big meal. That's all you need to really, really move that bowel and have proper bowel movements. All right. So the colon is what gets rid of all of the macro. Now, what's a part of the macro is parasites. If you're really trying to get rid of parasites and you're trying to get rid of plaque that's built up in the intestines, then you have to move the colon. Now, when you start moving the lymphatic system and getting the liver and the NRF2 pathways online and the glutathione S transferase proteins online, then you're getting rid of what you would call blood parasitics, which we see all the time. Aspergillus, mucoracimosis parasite, Fasciolopsis boyski in its primitive position, proteus, microzoma, all these different parasites that I see when we check your blood all the time. That's going to go through your urine when it dies. If you taking the right binders, which is activated charcoal is a binder. And that's another thing. A lot of y'all are cleansing and going on these parasite cleanses, and y'all not taking any type of binders like psyllium musk powder, activated charcoal, doing bananas with your herbs. All these things are binders. They're good binders because just like your cells go through something called cellular lysis, where they explode when they die and they projectile all of their DNA into the system. When these different microbes die inside the body, or these parasitics die inside the body, they actually explode. And when they explode, all of their DNA go into you. You realize the body is made of 150 trillion cells, and 100 trillion cells out of 150 trillion cells ain't even you. It's microbes, and microbes have their own DNA, just like organelles, like the mitochondria have its own DNA. So you are literally a walking petri dish of a bunch of stuff that ain't even you. And that's why y'all be having me bugging up when y'all be like, well, that's man-made food, or that wasn't made by God. And you know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, you a hybrid. Y'all be talking about all these hybrids, that broccoli hybrid. You are the most hybrided creature on earth. You are made of so many different things that make up you that's not even a part of you, that have become a part of you. And I'm not sitting here champion for GMO. I don't believe in GMO foods at all. I don't believe in non-organic foods at all. But do I believe in hybrided foods? Yes, we've been hybriding and sex selecting our foods for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. That's how you got the watermelon. The original watermelon you couldn't eat because it was too bitter. It's where you think you get bitter melon from. The original cucumber you couldn't eat. A wild cucumber you can't. It's too bitter. You see that? So throughout the ages, we hybrided and selected and made it our foods in certain ways to make it more appetizing and more edible for our people. Mind you, indigenous melanated beings did this. You see that? The Tuscan tribe from Italy, the real Sicily, real Italy, black people, the Moors, is who created the broccoli. They created the broccoli, which is one of your most super nutritional foods on planet Earth. Glucoraphanase, sulforaphane, all types of things that kicks glutathione producing molecules that really make you liver detoxes from the brassica family that was created by ancient black Italians, the real Italians. And I know y'all hate the word black. I know black is the color of a crown, but this is what y'all identify with, so that's why I'm saying it. So I'm not a champion for GMO food, which is genetically modified food. That is food that is made in a laboratory. I'm against that. I'm totally against that. But I make my own hybrid foods at my farm. You know how many different watermelon seeds I put together and created? I thought my watermelon last year was going to come out this big, and I be telling them they was this small. Because I was in that deal experimenting, trying to hybrid the best sweet watermelon. I do it all the time. You know how much hybrided food we eat? Half the food you eat is not original unless you are out of the country. And even out of the country, half of that food is still hybrided. Hybrid is not the issue. GMO is the issue. You see that? GMO is the issue. GMO seeds is the issue. Genetically modified is the issue, not a hybrid. Half of y'all on here ain't never had an original fruit. Ain't never had an original vegetable. And that's just the truth. I'm just being real with y'all. It's dragon fruit GMO. Dragon fruit is not GMO. Now, dragon fruit is a hybrid. Most of your papayas are hybrided, especially the ones that come out of Hawaii, which 98% of those are shipped to the U.S. Like, y'all don't know nutrition and food. When you really start studying food, you be like, oh, we do that all the time. You do that when you bypass an ugly woman and you go hump on a beautiful woman. Guess what that's called? Selective gene mating, right? You didn't want your baby to turn out to be ugly or to have these certain characteristics, so you chose the sexiest woman around to try to hump on to procreate. What is wrong with that? They doing the same thing with the food. Women do that to men all the time. I don't want no short man. So guess what? She don't want no short son. So she gonna try to procreate with the tallest, handsomest, dark fella she see. You don't see me mad. I'm sure I don't make the cut. I'm 5'6". You don't see me around here complaining. So y'all around here hybriding and mixing genes and selective gene, mixing DNA and being very selective for you can produce the best crop ever. But when it comes to food in a grocery store, what grows on the farm, we got to throw that out. That don't matter no more. But you do it all the time, though. Come on, man. Y'all are hypocrites. All right. We talked about the colon. Last is the lymphatic system, which is my favorite system. I talk about the lymphatic system all the time. Hold on. Let me get it. That's hybrid. We gonna get a DNA test. That deal gonna say 30% Nigeria, 40% Ghana, 10% Italy, 2% Germany. So you're not hybrid? Come on, man. I don't even believe in them DNA tests. All that's hogwash anyway. So this is the lymphatic system. The beautiful thing about the lymphatic system is, I tell y'all all the time, that the blood is what feeds the cells of the body nutrition. The nervous system is what communicates and commands the cells of the body. And the lymphatic system is the sewage system of the body. It's actually what cleanses the cells of the body. You have so many. They say it up to 500, but now we realize there's about 5,000 lymph nodes throughout the whole entire body. Each of these lymph nodes are like septic tanks. And what they do is they break down waste. And a lot of y'all get diagnosed with cancer, or y'all let them biopsy y'all and they end up taking your lymph nodes, especially women that are diagnosed or they say might have breast cancer. Y'all let them take a lot of y'all axillary lymph nodes. And these sometimes are the only way you able to drain. So say if you come in and you have triple negative invasive carcinoma ductal breast cancer on your left breast, and they done took 7 to 8 lymph nodes under there, the axillary lymph nodes. Now I have to figure out a way to drain you basically through the subclavian way of the right side because they done took your left side. So when y'all let these people biopsy y'all and take your lymph nodes, it's hard for me to move the lymph because they gone. Not saying that it's impossible, because we still do it and we move the lymph all the time. But now we have to literally train the body to drain a certain way because it can't drain its natural way, because y'all are removing y'all garbage trucks, because that's what these are. They're the garbage trucks. So the lymphatic system is around every major organ of the body. Y'all just type in a major organ right now. Give me a major organ. Put it in the comments. I love you too. Okay? Link up with me. Forever great. We rebuilding, y'all. We rebuilding. We unifying, man. It's time to collectively come together. Anything is curable. I don't even believe in the word cure, because guess what? I don't believe in disease. You see that? That take me out of the game right there. I don't believe in the disease. Is an illusion to me. Book coming out, shipping July 11th on my birthday. Best book in the world, y'all. The liver. All right, so when you look at the liver, you have something called the GOAT. Type in GOAT. G-A-L-T. Type it in. All capitals. G-A-L-T. It stands for gut associated lymphatic tissues. The GOAT. Gut associated lymphatic tissues. Look at the liver. Look at the hepatic ducts. Look at the gallbladder in its tail. Look at the pancreas that's coming over. Notice all the lymph nodes in area 9. That's what you call the GOAT. And let's not mention, right behind the liver, you have something called the cisterna cali. And the cisterna cali is one of the biggest lymph nodes on the body to cleanse the liver, because the liver is one of your biggest detoxification organs. So it has one of the biggest lymph nodes. Another one is the heart. The heart is not a pump. The lungs and the calf muscles pumps the blood through the body. The heart is a valve mechanism. That's what it does. It opens up and it flows blood. It controls the cardio output of blood. It is not a pump. It's been proven millions of times. I've been saying this for years. So look, the heart, guess what you have? You have the thymus gland. That's why if you truly want to heal or you want to do some lymphatic activation, the best thing to do is take your 4 fingers, find that thymus plate and tap on it. This wake the T cells up in the B cells, the thymus gland cells, the B cells, the NK cells, eosinophils, because the thymus gland is the school. It's the military school for the lymphatic system. So if you want to wake it up, all you do is tap it. I do this to my children all the time. Coughs, cold, go away. Once you wake that up, you got to get that bone, because now we got to drain. We drain into the subclavian. Make sure you go up. Axillary. Sphenoid. Then you got some in the back of your head I'm going to show you. And this is what I'm draining. See, I'm going to the back of my head. Behind my ears, all axillary, all cervical area. The cervical area, look, my nose running already, y'all. And this is going to drain. Look, you see how quick it worked? And it's going to drain down. My whole thing is to drain this way, recirculate, dump into the clavian, then go down to the kidneys. Because that's the way the draining works. The lymphatic system is one of the best systems. So give me another one. The testicles. That's called the inguinal. The inguinal lymph nodes. It's right by your private area. And notice every area I'm talking about is where a major disease is at. Look at that. See that? Right by the vagina. Right by the penis. So when these get backed up and metabolic waste stop flowing, guess what that's called? Cervical cancer. Testicular cancer. STIs. STDs. You see that? If it's in the liver.